The content and opinions shared on Talking Randomish are intended for entertainment and informational purposes. They reflect the personal views of the host and guests and do not constitute professional advice or represent any affiliated organization.
We're talking randomly. Talking random. We're talking randomly. Talking random.
Because, boy, my big cuz put this beat on. He played it by accident, but I sure was jamming. Hey man, I'm proud of you, big cuz, for getting in that. For letting few more people get to know what I already know about you. You're a genius with them beats, my boy. Welcome back. The Barbershop Talking Random-ish. I am your master barber, Enrique Dario. I'm sitting here by myself. Y'all see me sipping on a little something. Thanks to the guest that's in the building. God, what is that? That's all right. Well, that's all right now.
That's my signature drink that's been around. I reinvented her. She's called the Bald-Headed Hoe. It's spelled a little different because it tastes a little different. It's for the people. It has about 13% alcohol in that one little bottle. And somebody said, what's in there? I said, if you go to McDonald's, do McDonald's tell you what's in their secret sauce? But it gets you where you at for the people who like to drink but don't like the taste of alcohol.
This is nice. These are all right here, boy.
Let's imagine on ice, baby.
Oh my Lord!
I can do the shots. I can do the pouches. It's supposed to be starting tomorrow. I will have adult beverages. I have Jello shots and treats, and I can make you a drink out of anything. You put some bottles up here, and I can create you a signature drink. I'm Juicy J, the mixologist. They'll tell you, be careful when you drink responsibly.
Absolutely. Because this is nice. These are, like you say, because I'm at the age now where if I ain't got to take the alcohol, but I still like to have a good drink. Mm-hmm. And like I said, on some ice, mm-hmm. in that old slushy machine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's really nice.
Oh, my Lord.
Really nice.
This is the boy.
I created that about 3.5 years ago. I call it in the lab. Me and a girlfriend, which now has become my best friend because my son's, one of his organs was donated to her. So it's like he lives on. We was at my house and everybody always, well, I'm started during the COVID time, everybody trying to get their hustle on. So I'm going to do what I do best. And the song, Bald-Headed, it was out and it took it. That's what it came.
That's what it came.
Yeah.
Hey man, this is nice. This is nice. And if you got a party, little thing going on, you have a mixologist. But in May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. And this past May, for mental health, we did 2 shows dealing with grief. Had the ladies come in, they had the men. And for that, I want to apologize to you because when I had the ladies come in, my second phone call after I had talked to my sister about doing the show should have been to you. But we already said God's timing is perfect. Mm-hmm. So here we are. The circle of life supposed to go a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents have kids. Supposed to watch your kids grow. Your kids supposed to bury your mom and daddy. Life goes supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
But when that circle of life is shaking, ma'am, why are you here?
3 years ago, my life shifted. A lady told me prior, because it's been 20 years since my dad passed, and she said, "You're going to be the strong one." No, I'm not. That's my sister. I'm the baby. I don't supposed to be strong. So life goes on, and I was under attack. And this lady said, I'm like, what? She said, why you keep sitting on your talents? And I'm getting mad at her because I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, I'm decorating, I'm doing this, I'm hustling. She was like, you under attack. And I mean, my dog was acting up, my son was acting up, my husband was acting up. I said, now this is too much. She said, because the enemy can't have you, so he wants to attack things that are close to you. February 28th, I was in Atlanta taking my youngest son to his final game. My youngest son is deaf, so I'm like, my whole life has been like, why me? I don't bother nobody. I try to love everybody, try to treat everybody right. A lot of times I have often been called a peacemaker. So I'm in Doraville. A car stop. I can see around the car. I'm turning into a intersection so I can turn around and get back on the highway. And boom, I'm hit, flipped. I was pinned in the car. I could hear people talking, but I couldn't say anything. At that time, I did not know what was going on. My baby in the back had just undid his seat, and I call him my baby because he's my 1 pound miracle. At 18, his neck was supposed to have been broke because I seen him. It looks like I've been looking at a movie for the last 3 years. I seen him undo his seatbelt, bend down to get something, and then it was hit. And he got out first, and then he went around to get his dad out. And it was a lady, she was talking to me. She said, I'm gonna get you out of here. She said, just talk. I'm here with you. Just stay with us. Just stay with us. At that time, I did not realize how critical I should have been. But as the story say, but God. And all of a sudden, I just screamed because I just knew my face was supposed to have been tore up. I supposed to have been like, what you see now is not supposed to have been there anymore. I was going to be some kind of monster. I told him I'm going to get out this car. I said, just give me a moment. The man who stopped and let me, who actually later I found out videotaped it, he said, I'll tear this car up to get you out this car. You're not going to leave here on this. I said, I'm here. When I got out the car, they immediately said, you need to go to the hospital. I'm thinking I'm just messed up. I had a scratch on my finger. Sent my guy to his game, but I'm crying. I'm like, this is not, I mean, husband and I not getting along. I'm like, yeah, and your mind will create a situation for you that nobody can take away from you. And my sister said, you're going to go to the hospital. I said, because they tried to get me to go to the hospital in Atlanta. They want to take me to Grady. I said, I'm not going to Grady. I'm not going. No.
Them stories about Grady.
Yes, no. He was like, are you sure? I said, no, I'll wait. So when I got home that Sunday, my sister said, I'll take you to the hospital. You're going to the hospital. I was the only one that didn't have on a seatbelt. We all walked away. And I showed them the video. My sister and me said, we're supposed to be having 3 deaths. 3 is the number. 3. So that Sunday, I went to the hospital immediately, and everybody know at the hospital it's an all-day journey. They came back, they said, something wrong with your back. I said, yeah, my head hurt a little bit. Came back 10 minutes. They said, we immediately admitted you in ICU. I had bleeding and bruising on my brain. I stayed in ICU 3 days, and I called my son. He was like, I just want my mama. I said, your mama ain't going nowhere. And out of all 4 of my kids, he was the only one. He came and he was just so upset. He sat with me in silence for a while. And I said, Jay, I'm not going nowhere. So I stayed in the hospital 3 days and got out, went back to work there Friday. Saturday at 1:45 a.m. And it was such a weird Saturday because I had talked to him at 3 o'clock. And then I talked to him at 8 o'clock. And the last words he said to me, and we laughed about everything. 2 things that stood out was he said, the conversation started at 8. I said, you know you my favorite. He said, Mom, I know that. I was just waiting for you to tell the rest of them. And we laughed. And I said, what? And he said, Mama, I'm going to get you that black Tahoe. Because he had just got me the car that I had a wreck in. He said, Mama, that's why I work. He said, I go to work because I want to take care of you. He said, you done so much for everybody else. I just want to take care of you. And I said, Jay, I'm not going nowhere. He said, tomorrow I'm going to take you out to eat. I said, Jay, well, I really just got out of the hospital. I hadn't been eating. I really, He said, tomorrow, Mama, you, me, we going on a date. I said, okay. 1:45, I get a phone call. And it goes like, do you know your son in the hospital? I'm like, what? She said, before I continue, what is his birthday? And I think I gave her my youngest son's birthday. And she said, well, we have your son here. How long can you get to the hospital? I'm like, how long will you need to take? And she didn't, it wasn't a sense of urgency or anything. So I'm like, okay. So I'm putting on my clothes because I'm at the hospital. By now I got compressed fractures in my back. My knee messed up. So I'm moving really, really slow. Yeah. And so I called his girlfriend and I was like, hey, where's Jay? Because I'm hearing my other 2 kids. So, she said, well, he was at home, but he changed his clothes and he gone. She just said the clothes he had on was hung up in the closet. So I said, okay, well, I got a call from hospital. She said, I'm coming. So I'm thinking I'm being punked. So I leave out the house. I didn't tell anybody. I'm looking at the phone because prior to that, he told me, he said, Mom, I need you to know my location. So I'm looking at his location. I'm going up West Broad. His car is coming down Oconee Street. So I'm like, this is not right. Like, y'all need to go back and get my gun because this ain't right. Like, somebody is playing a joke on me. So I call his phone. I get an answer. I'm like, hello? They say hello. I say hello. Who is this? Why do you have man? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, so y'all left him? They was like, no, we just can't find him. I was like, what you mean you can't find him? And by this time I'm on Prince Avenue by Popeyes, and I remember the whole conversation like it's yesterday. I don't think I ever forget the conversation. And I told the little boy, I said, y'all getting my damn nerves want to be so gangsters and such. I said, y'all need to put a ball and a Bible in y'all hand or something. I said, I tell you what, when I get to this hospital, and the young man said, hospital? I said, yeah. I said, when I get to this hospital, there's something wrong with my child. Y'all gonna remember my name. Well, when I get to the hospital, I immediately go to Facebook because I don't want to be startled. I don't, because I hadn't got the phone call. I don't know what's going on. Nothing. So I go to the emergency room and I take a deep breath because I don't want to be bombarded. Emergency room, quiet, silent, cricket. So I get in there and the lady said, I said, I was called up here. She was like, have a seat. I mean, no sense of urgency. If you would have told me that when I got in there, that my life was going to change, I would say, ain't no way. No way. My son was speeding up the story. He was not deceased at the time. He just was sedated. What they said, he had sustained a single gunshot. They didn't tell us where. They just said it was a single gunshot and he was not going to live. Immediately they started coming in, wanted to know if we wanted to donate his organs, all of this. And I told the lady, I said, hold up. I know how black organs are a hot commodity, you know. I need to know. Later on, I found out we were lied to. We did donate his organs. We donated 5 of his organs. We donated his heart, his liver, both of his kidneys, and his lungs. He was pronounced dead March 5th at 10:32. The most heart-wrenching thing was to tell his friends or to see people come up to see him and just stand at the door and start screaming. And everybody was like, you're so strong. And the other day I wrote in I write everything because he told me he wanted me to write a book and I had stopped writing. And something came to me the other day which stuck with me. You never know how strong you have to be to life don't give you a choice. Mm-hmm. And immediately while everybody was praying for this miracle, because I was at the foot of his bed making a deal with the devil. I lived. Just let my baby live. And while everybody else was preparing for this miracle, I was preparing for his funeral. And so the night that we did his honor walk, I did not tell anybody. I just said, just come and everybody come and see. When I say that was the most beautiful thing. And it was so shocking to me because he know how his mama is about taking a bath. 3 days without not taking a bath. And then I walked out this room and it's people adjourned the hallways to celebrate my baby. And going to court, the judge said at the last day, she said, Mama, now you can rest. I told her, no, I can't. Because my community lost 5 black men that day. Not 4, not 1. They lost 5. The difference between them and my child was their mama can pick up the phone. I can't pick up the phone. Giovanni impacted so many people's lives that I did not know that. I just thought he was just my child. When he played sports, he always went hard. When I heard him talk about sports, I know how it is. I was a sport mom. He beat his football record twice. Have yet to get recognized for it in the state of Georgia. He was the only kid that ran the ball back 99 yards twice, back to back.
I watched one of those the other day. I was pulling up his name and his photo page came up.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he hasn't got recognized for it. He was the only kid, because they stopped doing it after him, played ball. They used to do it when your wife played, pull him up as 8th grader, and then they stopped doing it, and then they started back with him. He played ball as an 8th grader, as a 9th grader. They wouldn't let him play middle school ball. That's because he was way advanced. I have been at a game and seen them switch his position, but I also seen how he had so much respect for the coach, how they messed up his mind. And it was hard to see my child cry when people who look like you, who's supposed to be a mentor to you, destroy the black mind. And to see him cry. But then as I grew and I sat down and I had to say, why me? God said, why not you? He wasn't yours in the first place. And I said, you're right. He said, if I sent my only child, why not yours? So then I had to start looking at, well, what do you want me to do? And Giovanni came to me because I don't remember his voice. I can watch videos. I have yet to cry. So I don't know what a grieving mother. I desire to be a grieving mother.
Mm.
I desire to grieve. Everybody say you can let it go. I don't know what letting it go feel like. When people come in and tell me that Giovanni protected them, I said, oh, so you want me to be a protector? Even when he was in the 3rd grade, and we were talking earlier about raising our children, he taught me, he raised me as a mother to do what the work I'm doing now. And I've been quiet. I've always been quiet. I've always been nervous. I did his eulogy. If you would have told me I was going to stand up in front of a church to do his eulogy, I would have said, heck no. Then my coach is Coach Diamond. I was listening at her one day, and I kept saying, why is she doing all this talking? And I always give her the shout out because I did not know that these people were molding me for the next stage that I'm going to be on. She used to always say, be your authentic self. Learn who you are. So I started asking God, who am I? Why am I here? Why did you keep me here and take my child? And Giovanni said to me, he said, Mama, because if God would have taken you and left me, I would have been angry or in jail. He said, but you have a way with people. He said, so I need you to touch people. I need you to help people. I need you to help my community. And I said, well, just show me. And people have asked me, like, you haven't cussed God yet? I said, I trust that man more than anything ever now than I did. I put him before everything, whether I'm telling a joke or I'm driving in a car, because I don't supposed to be here. This wasn't my first journey. Giovanni wasn't my first child that I lost. He was my first living child. But no mother should have to go through what I went through. And I seen a young man, he had on a shirt that said Black Lives Matter. And I said, who do it matter the most to? Because in our community, I don't think it matters until it hits us. And I'm so grateful and so glad that I wasn't one of those moms that say, oh, my child didn't do this. Oh, this is what, even if you pull up one of the DA reports, because they went back and wrote his murder up as a friendly gunfire. When do gunfire become friendly? Then they wrote it up as, when I first was told going to court that it was a high profile case. Why was his case so high profile? He wasn't the first one killed in Athens. But what I also learned was the justice system, when it comes to dividing and conquer and to making themselves look good, they'll write it up as this. So justice for me, for my son. So when I hear about the baby in Texas, it hits home for me. Because the person who unalived my son was with him that night and was never charged. Drove his car, had his cell phone, and left my baby. I later found out through when they put the videos up on YouTube, because it destroyed schools again, that it wasn't a single gunshot. He was shot in the back of his head. The EMT who said, oh, I stayed with him the whole time. Yeah, you stood over him and kept telling him he was going to be dead before he get to the hospital. You did not administer any first aid. And in the environment where it was 60 to 80 rounds, he was the only one shot, and it didn't open eyes for you all. And before the next day, before 3 o'clock, the crime scene had been cleared. And they told me that they didn't think I was going to be that involved. I said, well, you got the wrong mama, baby. So my whole thing is, I don't want another mother to have to go through what I went through. My heart goes out every time the little baby that was shot in Hallmark, he actually was shot on Giovanni's death anniversary. So a lot of times when they say justice for baby Cairo, they always pull up their names at the same time. And I often speak to people when you have these officers that say, we want to stop the gang violence in Athens. Gang violence isn't in Athens. It's a stereotype of what we're going to keep labeling black males for, because I still stay in my mama's house and I can still leave the front door open. But when we continue to allow them to control our children's mind, and people are not stepping up to educate our kids, and we're seeing stuff and we become blindsided to what we actually see going on in the community, then they will continue to control our community. So we got to open up our eyes, and I'm here to help my community. I'm here to love on people. I'm here to love on women, to help them discover who they are authentically, to know their place, their timing, that God doesn't make mistakes. I'm here to help people grow while I'm growing. It's a learning process. And I thank God for the journey that He has me on now. It might not look like what everybody say. And I keep saying, who is to tell me that it's not my time? When God says, I got you where I want you. You say you mine. I got you. So when people tell me, oh, you shouldn't be talking about God, but you talking about alcohol. I said, God turned, of all the things God could have turned water into, He turned it into what?
Wine.
Let's go into Revelations. I said, Revelation is what? The revealing. It's revealing of time. When we talk about Jesus is coming back, one of the things that we describe Him as is a man whose eyes are red. When your eyes are red, you've been what? He's been drinking, he's been crying, he's mad because you're destroying what He created. So if we're going to speak about the Bible, which that's a whole nother story. People don't like to get real about it, but it's real. It's written. So we are living in Revelation times, and we got to stop being quiet and sitting back and allowing things to happen and saying, oh, it's not my child until that knock come or that phone call come. And now we want empathy and sympathy because now it is your child. It's going to happen again.
Okay. What did this do to your family?
It, in a sense, my family is nowhere near I am. Nowhere. His dad really don't talk about it. For me, it's still being in crowds. I don't do. I often look at people and be like, you know something. My sons, I sent him to Savannah. My sister Derek, we can't even barely look at pictures without her crying. It destroyed my family. They don't know what they did when they took. We never had anything like this. My father-in-law was willing to give it all up to find justice for him. So, yeah, it did not only affect my family; it affected a community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember the outpouring of the community when it happened. And I mean, like I said, all I could do was pray because I couldn't imagine getting that phone call. I know what it was like when our oldest was in a car wreck, and that kind of that shook us, because you let your kids go with somebody else, and he ended up in a wreck, and so you like you want to just hold your kids and just keep them, but once they get a certain age, they got they you know they're gonna move around. They're gonna be they got to be themselves. They gotta. So, but I could not imagine that phone call. I know what it was like to get the phone call about my mother.
Mm-hmm.
January 27th. Get to the hospital because they just did CPR on your mother.
Mm-hmm.
To walk in that room, to see her laying there,
Mm-hmm.
to see those tubes and things in her. But like I said before, but this is kind of like the circle of life.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in there and see your baby, what does that do?
Oh, I went into fight mode. I remember saying, even when he played sports, I would say, if something ever happened to you, if something ever happened to any one of my kids, because my first two babies, my first three was stillborn. And I remember my first baby, another friend, a classmate of mine, her boyfriend unalived her baby by beating him to death. And I said, if something ever happened to my kids, I would lose my mind. And for me, like I said, it's still like a movie. I constantly wait for someone to say, cut. You played this part so well. You acted this part so well. Like I say, I grieve for the day when I can say, okay, let me mourn over my baby. Let me get angry. This has been me for the last 3 years. I hardly ever get angry. I try to look at stuff in a positive light. If I raise my voice, my kids laugh at me. My family name did not know that they call me Psycho G. But my daughter often say, I don't know this lady. I don't know this not my mama. Like, she's always too calm. Like, I'm not gonna let anyone interrupt my peace.
Do you fear that it may come out in maybe not a good way?
No, because I trust God. I trust God. When I say I trust Him wholeheartedly, there have been times when, and I watch other people grieve, and I comfort them, because we have to realize God wrote our story.
Absolutely.
And so we forget that God promised us two things. He promised us life. He promised us death. He gave us a dash. And He never put a marking on that dash, because we'll be trying to manipulate our way around.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
When I look at it, I said it was His time. It was something that He had to do. God had to put me in a timing. Like I said, I had to ask Him, why did you choose? And I constantly say daily, I ain't nobody. You know, on TikTok, I got over 20K followers. But on Facebook, I have a couple of followers, but my first story was being told on TikTok because Athens thought they knew. But you don't know me. You know of me, but you don't know me. They thought they knew Him. They had no clue. When I get a phone call that says, "Did you know your son kept my kids at night so I could work?" I'm saying, "What?" She said, "I was able to keep my job because of him." Or when the corporate office calls you and the lady is in tears because of his mannerism, and this wasn't supposed to happen. What job you know don't replace you within a week? They left his spot at Caterpillar for almost a month. Giovanni worked 2 jobs. Now, I'm not saying that he was perfect. I put him out at 17 because he was not finna. The streets. He was so loyal. What unalived him was his loyalty. When he's your friend, he's your friend. When he respected you, he respected you. Marvin Nunley told him one time about how to shake a man's hand. He took that with him. Sheldon Armand, when he was playing football, he said, "You look a man in his eye." Giovanni took that with him everywhere he went, and he would always say, and he would call somebody not by their first name. I remember when he was playing football, the coach said, "You don't have to say yes, sir," to me. I said, "Yes, he does. Number one, he's respecting you, and you're going to respect him the same way." And it was so funny that even teachers, they would want me to jump on him. And I said, "No, we're here to help him." And I will often tell him, you can speak for yourself, but I often told him that a dead person can't speak from his grave. And I would tell him that people would be jealous, not come out and say that, but they would actually be jealous of you. And for him, I would always say the grass over there ain't really real. That's turf. I'm on to you because I love you and I want to see you going through this. Not because I want to see you fall. I said there can be 20 other Giovannis, but how bad do you want it? And when he went off to college and he got down there and the football coach said, "We're looking for you." But they told us she wasn't on the D1 roster. You would have seen my baby went from this 6'1" to this little midget in this room. If he could have crawled up under that table that day, that crushed him. He said, "I don't want to go to college as an athlete anymore." When they told me he made a 1050 on his SAT score, but then the people who mentored him said, "Oh, he cheated." How can you cheat on the SAT? He only made a 1050. But they didn't know that my requirements was he was an AB student. If you brought home a 75 to me, what we doing? I was one of them kind of moms. I don't care what you got going on. Or somebody else say, like, "Why do he have on Jordans and you can't afford to pay his football fees?" I could not afford it. I was working in Clark County School District making as a parent, bringing home $375 because I'm getting garnished. But he had excellent support system. He had a great grandmother and grandfathers that they took care of my kids. I have a wonderful support system. When I put him out and he lost all his clothes, it was a mama who, whatever she did, she bought all his clothes. His senior year, I never paid for Jordans. He never paid for Jordans. All she said was, "Go out there and play your best." So when I sit back and look at how blessed, I look at everything as a blessing. I don't take this moment, this opportunity as nothing but a blessing. This platform that you're arranging for so many voices to be heard, for people who don't even realize what you're doing, it's a blessing. Because, like I said, people don't realize, they take things for granted, and in a blink of an eye, it could be gone. I would have never thought. I envisioned Giovanni to be this top-notch, because he hated to be a leader. He wanted to chill. That boy could move a whole room and make his smile could light up a room, but he didn't want that. So with him being gone, it's like a void. Like for me, it's like cut, Some days I be want to say, okay, where is he gonna pop out at? You know, it doesn't seem real to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm living on a fantasy. But if I can help someone, because he helped plenty, that's what I want to do.
Wow. Wow. Last Friday, I had to go up to Piedmont to get some ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I had been in Piedmont since my mother passed.
Okay.
They gave me the address, so I didn't know where I was going.
Okay.
And so once I got in there and I realized where I was,
Mm-hmm.
it shook me to my core.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking I gotta go back tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what was it like?
So, I just welcomed a new grandbaby 2 months ago.
Congratulations.
Yes. Beautiful baby. Beautiful chocolate, honey. We ain't seen no chocolate babies in forever. She's a doll. It was kind of so... For the longest, I could not ride by the emergency room. It was just because I should have been there. I've always been there. I didn't get the courtesy phone call where the police come knock at your door. I did not get that. I did not. They listed him as a John Doe. Yeah. They listed my baby as a John Doe. I felt like I was cheated. So when I went to go view his body or plan his services, they said, "Do you want to see it?" I said, "I want to see it." He said, No, that's going to put trauma to your head." I said, "He's mine. I need to see." What bothers me was I did not pull back the cover to see his incisions from where they took out his organs. But when Mazani was born, I told the nurse, I said, and she bust out and started crying, I said, "This is where he started in the NICU. And he ended in ICU, the other one." And she said, "I don't see how you said, this doesn't bother me because I know that y'all say was working. It's people. It's people who are helping people. But I do feel guilty because I did not see his incisions. That does bother me. When my mom got sick, it did not bother me from Giovanni, but when her sister, the beeping of the machines, I really don't like to go to Athens Regional because I felt like it's not that I felt like I was cheated. I was lied to. So I felt like the whole thing I was lied to, and for me, I keep saying I don't feel like justice was served because, and people really think that I'm weird when I say this, those 4 boys who were convicted, for me, I felt like the justice system wanted to prove a point with them versus charging. It was so many entities of this that they should have charged, but they did not. They just wanted to prove a point so it can look like, oh, we saved, we got this.
Close the case.
Yes, if they hadn't went over there and started shooting. But back to what he said, we haven't taught our kids how to be friends. Loyalty isn't loyalty anymore. and where he was a friend, his friends wasn't loyal. So my question always is, how do we teach our kids how to be friends? Because your friends have been your friends since what?
5 years old, 4th grade,
Right.
6th grade.
Right.
Yeah.
And we are true East Siders.
Yeah.
These kids, today you on the East Side, tomorrow you on the West Side, tomorrow the West Side on the East Side. I'm a true East Sider. I work on the East Side. I've never lived on the West Side. Unfortunately, I don't even go to Clark Central games. I support them from. I mean, that's just how loyal I am. But these kids aren't loyal like that, and that's what hurt me the most. Is because I don't feel like justice is being served, and it was a shut case. And they actually said, "So what you want us to do?" They waited 2 years. Even when they put the videos up on YouTube, I was tossed off like, oh, it's going to be public knowledge. The case was still going on. So I feel cheated. I feel manipulated. Oh, you who are you? You know too much. Like that's how they question me. Like even the detective was like, so what you think happened? So I keep saying I don't want anybody, whatever the situations, and I tell people there's always 3 sides to a story. Unfortunately, the dead can't tell their side. And even for Athens Clarke County, when I see justice for Lakely Ryle or Tara Baker, I get offended every time because I never seen justice for Giovanna. You know, I just studied a couple of weeks ago. There are 12 unsolved murders from 2006 on down. Are they going to open up these cases? Or those parents should have justice as well? You know, even though they convicted 4 people for my child, there's a mother out there who I keep in contact with. They ain't trying to solve her son case. So we got all this new DNA stuff and we can't help. We ain't solving that. You know why? Because, like I said before, when do Black lives really matter? Or when do melanated lives matter? Nobody can seem to answer that. Everybody wants, like he said, going back to sports. I wrote in the notes. Going back to sports. Everybody want to have a big eye. Nobody want to play as a team. Even when we, right now with these nonprofits, someone said to me, they said, Athens is so full of nonprofit organizations, but nobody is really coming together to help the community. I'm like, you're right.
Everybody, what I'm finding out is everybody want credit.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want their whatever to be shined on, and that's not how it's gonna get anything done. To me, we all have to sit down our egos, our titles, and figure out why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
If we're doing this because and we're not doing it because of these kids.
And I say that all the time. When I did his eulogy, they said, oh, you've been called to preach. Oh, you should be a preacher. I don't want a title. I don't want a title. I said the only label I want is the name that God gave me, and that's Giovanna. Everything that I do is not for a reason. It's for a cause. If I'm going to go to the school to help a mama whose child has an IEP, it's because that child, I want to see that child. Or if I'm talking to a mama about different ways of helping her with her discipline her children. It hurts. It hurts, but we gotta, this soft parenting technique is not working. We're looking like donkeys.
Some damn fools.
Right. So I'm like, what are we doing? You know, I look at Athens' last electoral races, and I said, do y'all still see how they're trying to divide us? And everybody, long as Willie Lynch wrote in 1827, he wrote a book, How to Control Black People. We are still controlled, hand-picked Negroes with titles, and we feel like because we have a table, we have arrived. These tables aren't built for us. What they're building for us is jail cells and graves. If we can't get you in the jail, we're going to get you in the grave.
Mm-hmm.
So until we learn how to not want to be accepted at the table, but to learn that that table is there or build our own tables, then we're failing the next generation. As what they call the YNs, we're failing them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. How do we begin to turn any of this around?
First of all, we gotta pull out, like my pastor say, pull out the Palm Pilot. That's a reflection of yourself. We gotta start back looking at where did we come from? Who are we? And drop our eyeballs on the inside and be for real with ourselves. We have lied to ourselves. We calling ourselves African American. I am not no African American. I am a American. I just said do the math, and I keep saying it. If slavery lasted 400 years, we celebrated 250 years, 200 years in slavery in America, it does not add up. We got to stop lying to ourselves, because we have to start with ourselves first. We got to go back. We were business owners. We were educated. We hate to be educated now. Can't nobody tell us nothing. You know, sitting in school is about to start back. The meetings used to piss me off when I worked in the school. Well, here's the data charts. They love those charts.
Of course.
The Asian kids are flying off the map. The white kids, or the Caucasian, the white, or they'll say Caucasian or white, are moving right along. The Hispanic kids have made a 1% increase, and then the whole demeanor change when it comes to the black. So, but they all start in kindergarten and pre-K together. Explain that to me. If we don't get back into taking care of our own, we came from where your mama, if my mama called her mama and said she was cutting up on the bus.
Man, come on. Your mama didn't have no problem. Man, we were so scared of your mama. Man, Lynn.
Because she took her job
Oh,
serious.
absolutely. Yes.
I mean, and she still do. She is very passionate. She'll tell me to this day. My son went to Atlanta area school for the deaf. He got up every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning because I was not going to send him to Clark Central. They kept wanting to handicap him because of his hearing. His hearing is a rare hearing loss. My mom got up every morning and sat with him. Now, he 18. She made sure he got on the bus and waited for him till he get off the bus. When it was bus driver, she made sure, she said, because that's the first person who sees the kids and the last person who sees. She built relationships with children, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. She wanted to make sure that they got home safe. We did not realize it, but our lives were in her hand for 20 whole minutes, even before we got to the school.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, me working in a school, it's the first people who see them, because you don't know what that child has encountered before they got to the schoolhouse.
Absolutely.
So when you start poking the bear early in the morning, then you have done that all day. Or even in the school system, the first thing in high school, they used to say, if you don't do this, then you're going to fail. So we put words, because these kids play on words more so than actions, because they have so much in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put those words in their mind, then that's what they're going to stay on. So we got to change the whole dynamic. The church was the foundation of our community. We don't have vacation Bible schools. We don't have, it's even the churches who are downplaying. You go to church and you don't have on the right kind of stuff at certain churches, they turning their nose up at you. Or it's the money is the key terms in churches. So now people don't want to go to church. We had community centers. We had somebody dead out. You don't go in a neighborhood. When do you see kids out playing football, riding bikes? So we have to go back, and I say this all the time. And I say when I was at a meeting one time right after Giovanna, because everybody was up in an uproar. We need to do something. We need to do something. And I tell you, 3 years later, none of them people that sat at that table and said we need to do something have reached out to me. I commend you. You're the first one. And they was talking about, oh, the black man this, and we need the daddy wasn't. The black men wasn't designed to be in the home. But we respected them, and we have lost the respect of who we are and our identity. And when we lost that, then we lost.
Desegregation, and I remember saying this in high school, I believe is the worst thing that happened to us as a community. Because once the desegregation happened, a lot of us felt like we have came. Mm-hmm. We have arrived. Mm-hmm. And we stopped taking care of our own, stopped being with our own, stopped shopping with our own, stopped educating our own, because now we can go get theirs. Because it was made to make it, for whatever reason, a lot of us felt like theirs was better than ours. Mm-hmm. And then after they killed Martin Luther King, they found a way to divide the families. Mm-hmm. By making sure they put these programs in order where the women, we give a woman some money, but she can't have a man in the home. Mm-hmm. So now we as men start to resent the women start to resent the men, and we furthering the divide. Mm-hmm. We got to figure out something.
We got to go back to, like I said, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I ain't going nowhere. But if we don't start looking at our neighbors, our neighborhood, knowing your neighbors, but taking care of your own. If you started with the back to school drive, first of all, we got to stop looking for handouts, because it started way before Martin Luther King. Because what they wanted to do is manipulate our mind. So we got these people who are now philosophers and this and that, who really not. They just talking because you can write a book. So now we are at mind manipulation. So you got to be strong-minded. We got to go back to reading, writing, educating. The man did not supposed to be in the home, but the women wore heels. You clean the house in heels. Now these women, it's all about shaking your tail. But where did that come from? We were paraded around as slaves if you had big lips and big butts. Now it's a fashion. Everybody want to be that. The fear of this world is the fear of a black woman. But behind every black woman, you know who she gonna push in front? Her man. But then these men don't want that. Because they are normally, they don't know, and it comes from the mama. It comes from mamas trying to raise black men. I couldn't teach Giovanni how to be a man. Even with my mom, and I say this all the time, she did not do it normally, but my mama centered me around some immaculate women. Even now, I find mentors, Miss Ovita Thornton, Tiffany Taylor. My mentor now is 30 years old when it comes to my drink. My husband said the other day, he said, if you make that drink very expensive, they'll want it. But if you sell it dirt cheap, they're not gonna sell it. They're not gonna buy it. And then we so busy trying to get in clusters. We love to be in clusters, but nobody in the cluster is standing up to do anything. We want to spend our money on parties and shoes, but we ain't building communities. We only want to be seen when it's a handout. We want stuff to be handed out because we feel like, oh, we still 40 acres and a mule. Well, get up and go get your 40 acres and a mule because anybody can have it. We should have millionaires, billionaires. It has been a study that shows we're the only culture. We downplay each other. We don't buy from each other. We the only people who kill each other. You hardly ever hear a Chinese black crime. If it's a Mexican crime, you don't hear them going over there in Rolling Ridge talking about it's gang wars because it's real. You don't even hear about a Hispanic person being killed. But we are still letting them control us and manipulate us. You go over there on the block, and I've said plenty of times, why are they wouldn't have police on motorcycles been over there? They're not in 5 Point. 5 Points is dandelions and daisies. You got businesses thriving. Indian people are not having business over there. They know how to get us. Even other cultures know how to manipulate us.
Oh, absolutely.
And we are allowing this because we just want to sit at their table. Because our table and our chairs were homemade.
What if you could write a perfect ending for something good coming out of what happened to your son? What would that be?
A perfect ending would be stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. I always wanted him to be true to himself. When I talk to other people about him, and they always say, oh, he had to have big angel wings. He's still living. When I think about his organ, the person who has his kidney, it's like he's still here. When I always wanted him to have a gym with his friends. Seeing young men thriving. Because that's what I want for him. I want to see kids with their pants up. I want to see kids doing stuff. I want to see mamas at games. I want to see mamas in the school system because your child is in trouble or you're there to cuss out teachers. I want to see when they say make Athens great. Well, Athens can't be great because you're not networking with the communities. Bringing communities together. I would love to see these organizations, let's come together and have a mass, whether it's church, whether it's give back. We got to take care of our own. That's what I want to see. that's when I'll say, okay, this is the vision that he has. This is what he wanted. Teaching kids how to be loyal to your friends. And he will always say, whatever you start, we don't quit until that buzzer sounds. So that buzzer is never going to sound because people are not going to want to come together. But we have to trust each other. We got to love on each other and accept that we are all different. Everybody is entitled to have their own opinion. But we got to learn to listen and respect. And that's the main game that we got to go back to get. We got to respect each other and keep God first.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And I promise you, you have helped somebody. Because, like you say, you're not the first mother. And the way this world is going, you're sure not going to be the last. Please tell people where they can find you. Your delicious drinks.
I can be found I'm on all social media platforms. Facebook is Giovanna Thompson-McDavid. I have my business phone number, 706-255-6534. I'm on Snapchat. Definitely look at me on TikTok, Forever J, where we have all kind of conversations such as this. On Friday nights, sometimes we do adult conversation. The conversations go wherever the path may lead us, where we might tell you a joke, but we're not going to tell you a lie. We'll tell you something to make you laugh, never make you cry. And I always say, definitely on Wednesday, be a blessing. Just be a blessing. It doesn't cost anything, because you never know when you got to go into your bag of blessings to bless somebody else. So if you call me, I'm going to answer. If you need me for whichever reason, if it's for an encouraging word, if it's a shoulder to cry on, if it's for a good drink or for a good laugh, because I call myself being funny too. Just call me. I'm there. I am wherever you need me to be.
I thank you. Because it takes courage. But one thing I never forget, the first time first time in a long time that I walked into Clifford Grove Baptist Church, and Pastor Troy looked at me and he said, "You got to tell your story." Mm-hmm. And one thing that I know is the experiences and the things and the tools that we gain in our life, they're to help someone else. So I thank you. Thank you for the help that you're doing and going to be doing when it comes to this. Because you're going to be needed. Thank you.
Thank you all. I appreciate this. This was like, can I say it? Almost like a dream come true. Like, I've never been so excited to be like, I went through nervousness. I've never felt nervous. It was like, when I got outside, I was like, oh. But I am so honored. I appreciate you and your wife listening to my story. You have a beautiful wife. You have a beautiful story. I'm working with mothers of black sons. You gotta tell your story.
Absolutely.
I'm in the process of writing, so who knows? I don't know. A couple of short stories. I do have another young man I would love for you to read. He is an author. He wrote a book. His name is Dwayne Thompson from Birmingham, Alabama. Met him through Facebook, TikTok. And my platform is on Facebook. It's a couple of short stories, but real life solutions. And people need to see real people and hear real stories so we can get through this world of pain and hurt and find love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the door's always open here. Anytime we open these doors, you're more than welcome. And anybody that you have that has something for our community, the doors are open to them also.
Thank you.
Because I believe the barbershop is the heart of the community.
It is.
And so if y'all got the information and y'all need it to be spread, bring it to the barbershop. We'll get it out. But I thank you. Tell your mother we said hello.
I will.
Oh, that was the meanest bus driver in the world.
At 84 now, she's a clown.
Please, the community of Athens. Boy, Miss Liz.
Yes, 92-139.
Miss Liz, yes, sir. But we're going to get ready to get on up out of here. This game called Life is a series of moments. The past is just that, the past. Learn from it. Be thankful for it. The future, prepare for it. It's coming. Let's get to the next one. The present, it's a gift. Enjoy the journey. Take plenty of pictures. But most importantly, thank God. It's time to clean these clippers. Sweep these floors. I guess I'm just the bathroom boy.
I got you.
You gonna clean the bathroom for me tonight? That's all right. My baby gonna clean the bathroom for me tonight. In the words of Rita Lawson's son, Odabo Jack, the shop is closed.
We're talking randomly.